Welcome back to the BookFest Club. I'm your co-host Jay, along with my co-host Key. We missing the third and final member of the BookFest Club, Jules. You'll be seeing him pretty soon. We already discussed his arrangements last episode, but we are back with another episode. And today, this is a proud announcement because this is my first ever reading a full romance book. No thriller, no fantasy, no murder, no twist, no plots, just romance, family, black romance, black family in a nice little suburban town of Skyland in Atlanta. Now, if you don't know, this book, as she was holding up, I have my copy too, is Kennedy Ryan's Before
One of my favorite authors. I may interject and say.
First off, how was your week? Everything good?
And my week was really, really good. Thank you so much. Just like I said, y'all know I'm doing night shift. So just my body likes that shift more than I like that. Or excuse me, I like that shift more than my body likes that shift. So I'm still adjusted to sleep. But I've had a great week. No stress. Just been working, getting shit done. What about you, Jay?
Easy week, man. Same old busy. Hopefully it slow down this week coming up and I can focus more on the gym, man. Been trying to get back in the gym, get my health right, eat a little bit better, and just trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get my body right, man. I told you I can't be out here with the belly and the booty in the summertime. I'm trying to have the yams out, but the gut right. You know, sun's out, buns out, baby.
I feel it.
Summer. Let's not keep the people waiting, man. Let's get into the book. We got Key. I'm gonna let Key run this one because this is her baby. This is her rubric that she came up with. We told y'all we got rubrics for everything: fantasy, dark romance, thrillers, anything you need. We got a rubric for in our own way. So I'm gonna let Key run the show on this one, and now I'm gonna be the other person on the other end receiving everything.
Okay. So yes, just like Jay said, we are going to be talking about Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. And I feel like on this beautiful March 1st day, this is the perfect book to start off with, Jay, because March is actually Women's History Month. So I'm glad that we get to start it. Last month was Black History. Today starts Women's History Month, and Kennedy Ryan is the perfect author to start off with. This is a second chance romance. It's about a couple, Josiah and Yasmen, who have went through some things in their marriage. They have broken up, and this is their story of reconciliation. So the first thing on our rubric, considering that this is a second chance breakup, we are going to discuss the breakup backstory. First of all, why did they break up? Was it believable? And since this is a second chance romance, did both parties share responsibility equally? I want to hear what you think, Jay.
Oh, man. They broke up. Well, I'm assuming that everybody read this, and if you didn't, that sucks to be you.
Go back and read it, come back, but
you better stop listening right now, because they broke up because it was a lot of trauma, a lot of issues that they had to deal with, and there was a lack of communication. He eventually tripped on the floorboard inside the kitchen. I mean, inside the kitchen of Grits restaurant in Atlanta, and she fell on top of her stomach, which caused the placenta to just bust open, you know what I mean? And she literally was wet and she didn't feel a baby kicking anymore, and the baby died on impact. So she gave birth to a stillborn, which his name was going to be Henry. And on top of that, Josiah's aunt passed away as well, who was a significant part in helping them build Grits, the kitchen, the menu and everything like that, with her cooking. So with those two losses, they were kind of going through their own motions and their own trauma in separate ways, but they could never connect together, which kind of led to resentment. Yaz wanting another baby, Josiah not wanting to experience death. And that's what kind of led to the miscommunication and the anger, the lashing out because of, unspoken trauma. And that's what ultimately led, words is being said, I don't love you anymore. I can't be around you. I blame you. A lot of blame going around. And that ultimately led to Yasmin asking for a divorce from Josiah. And that's why they broke up. Was it believable? I believe it was, because, as you're married, I'm married. We go through different things and things are said. As somebody who is married, a lot of things being said to each other to hurt the other party without even actually sitting down and having open communication with each other, great dialogue with your spouse. And I think that's why it's believable to me, because I'm in it every day fighting for marriage and, learning things as I go. And it was just remarkable to see this story go from, it was a full story. Like it was such a well written full story. I just feel like both parties share responsibility. Josiah, not because he didn't want to face his demons. He didn't want to face the reality, kind of just putting 2 feet on the ground and going ahead just like most men, while she wants her responsibility. She wants to bask in it. She wanted him to bask in the trauma with her and seek help with her. She wanted her to feel like how he felt and kind of sulk, and he wasn't going for that. And she felt like he wasn't in it, and she was in it by herself. So yeah, that was the breakup story right there.
To agree with you, especially Jay, considering me and you are both married. Marriage is work. It takes work, especially when you're going through something like the loss of a child, which I have experienced, the loss of a loved one. Like I just lost my granddaddy, and just being able to communicate with your spouse. So I agree with you. I felt like they broke up because you hit the nail on the head. Communication is so important in marriages, in any relationship, but especially in marriages. And I think this book did a really good job of showing that. Josiah and Yasmin had the perfect relationship, Jay. Like everybody was so surprised that they divorced. Like y'all had the love of all loves, and it just shows that sometimes love is not enough. Sometimes you also need communication. Y'all have to be one together. And just like you said, Josiah, the way that he dealt with things was, he's a man. He wasn't really in touch with his emotions. He just wanted to just steamroll right ahead and keep going. And Yasmin, just like you said, she was sad. She was grieving. She wanted Josiah to come to the grief with her. And he just was like, I can't. Like you didn't kind of checked out a little bit. I got to keep the restaurant going. Like we can't just give up. And I think she just needed somebody there with her. Another thing that was really, really important when you said that both parties share responsibility was therapy, Jay. I feel like in the Black household, therapy gets such a bad name. And that was another thing that I really loved about this book. Their son, Keem, he goes to therapy. Like, you know what I mean? Because therapy is not a negative. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes you need somebody who's outside of that to come in and just give you some clarity. And I resonated with that so well because part of the story is Yasmin wanted to go to couples therapy with Josiah and he refused. He did not want to go to therapy. And that was part of the breakdown of their relationship. He wouldn't talk about it with her. He wouldn't go to couples therapy. And I've experienced that. Like when me and my husband were going through our issues, that was something that, I'm like, let's go to couples therapy. And, he's a dude and he's like, I ain't going to let another woman tell me how to run my marriage, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, we could get a male therapist. And he's like, so you think I want another man telling me how to, like he was very adverse to it. And when we separated, he went to therapy on his own, just like this book. And just like I went to therapy, and he understands like, you know what, maybe I was tripping. Therapy is a good thing. So just like you said, I definitely believe their breakup was believable. They were going through a lot. They definitely both shared responsibility on the reconciliation tip. In the end, they both admit the things that they didn't do right. And yeah, so I agree with you. I think that the breakup was well done. The reconciliation was well done. And Josiah and Yasmin both put in the work and they accepted responsibility for why their marriage broke down. The next thing we're going to talk about is time and growth. So Josiah and Yasmin have been divorced for 2 years at the start of this book. So they haven't been like separated from each other because they co-parent, but they have been divorced for 2 years. What changed, Jay, since they were last together that you felt like spurned on this reconciliation?
Jealousy.
Yep.
Jealousy. Yasmin was like, you and Vashti. When she came over to get what's her name's remote for his project for school, and she saw my son Vashti in that nice little Josiah's shirt, and she was like, oh, you getting buns? Oh, word? Let me call Mark Lancaster from Lancaster Developments because Josiah's dating Vashti. And I'm jealous, and Vashti's a small petite person who can cook. Jealousy changed since the last time they were together, and her seeing Josiah with another. Because think about it, it was kind of, they was talking about each other, their thoughts and process up until she saw Vashti at the crib. Even when Vashti was at the crib earlier, which is super weird. How you going? No. She was playing Monopoly at her house with her kids. And man, you're not going to, you come into my house. You don't even live here. He don't live here.
I didn't like Vashti.
I would have been like, what? It ain't her fault. No, you know what I'm saying? It's not her fault. But let me answer the question real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's what changed since they were together. And then she realized, she was still in love with him once she saw him with somebody else. It's kind of like, I guess she was used to having him around, but you know how that could be. I felt like both characters changed a lot. They grew individually, especially Yasmin, saying that she come to the realization that she should have never did that. She should have went about it another way. And that was good for her to, realize that she always really wanted her husband. But it was key details that we'll talk about in the book that, I'm saying you could see that she really wanted her husband. Would the relationship still fail if they met? Would the relationship still have failed if they met again unchanged? Yes, it would have.
It would
Because
have.
it would have been, it almost didn't happen because Josiah wasn't seeking therapy. They had to seek therapy. If there was no therapy involved for either one of them, they would have grew distant from each other, and it probably would have ended up a lot worse as far as like communication, breakdowns, and hatred would have formed if they didn't get the proper device to deal with it, which is therapy.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, jealousy was definitely a factor in them getting back together because at the start of the book, they had been divorced for 2 years. Now, this is the crazy thing about Josiah and Yasmin. They had been divorced, but they were never really separated. That's why I don't even know if I can call this second chance romance, Jay, because it was like, yeah, they were divorced, but he would come over to the house because the kids was over there. They had grits together. They were still business partners. They would see each other often. In the beginning of the book, remember, he helps her zip up her dress. Like, they still have contact with each other. It was never really any separation, but they just weren't together. Like, they weren't, bumping uglies. They weren't living together. They weren't working through their problems that they had. But yes, remember when she walked in the restaurant in the beginning and Vashti was just the way she was looking at Josiah was just kind of like, she was like, And then she comes home and sees Vashti in there with the kids, and her arm is on Josiah's arm, and she's like,
she made food. How you gonna bring food? She bought food. She bought her ribs, her famous ribs
and
from grits,
and her kids is like loves the ribs. He
finger
always
licking
asks for
ribs.
Vashti's
Like,
ribs.
what a disrespectful.
Imagine your man moves on, your ex-husband moves on, and she's a chef, and Vashti head chef, and she saved the restaurant. You know what I mean? So she has a very big part in y'all's business. And now you're gonna have to see her dating your ex-husband. Yes, so I definitely think, to be honest, they always had feelings for each other. I don't think they ever stopped, but I think her realizing that he was moving on and there was a chance that y'all are not gonna get back together because Vashti's beautiful. She can cook. Like, you may lose him forever. I definitely think that was something. I also think for Josiah, he was ready to move on with Vashti, even though I feel like he still loved Yasmin, but he just was like, I don't think that she wants me, so I'm moving on. Exactly. But when he seen her kissing Mark, do you remember that scene when
my son was behind the door looking at the
camera? And the feeling in him. And then remember when Mark brought her a Christmas tree later, and his son is like, yeah, mom's boyfriend bought a Christmas tree. He's like, excuse me?
Your boyfriend?
So I definitely think jealousy was a really big part of that.
Yeah.
Did both characters grow? Exactly like Jay said. Absolutely. Yasmin could not deal with her grief. She couldn't at first. By the end of the book, she was like, you know what? I've been to therapy and I know you don't trust that, but please know I am here with you. I've done the work. I put it in. I'm okay. Same thing with Josiah. He was not in touch with his emotions. He wasn't used to dealing with stuff. He lost his parents at a young age. He didn't really deal with that. Then he lost his aunt. Then he lost his child. He's not used to dealing with grief. And so going to therapy let him be able to talk about it and talk to somebody else about it and open up. And I agree with you. If they never would have went to therapy and they came back together, it would have never worked because communication was the issue in their relationship. And if they didn't know how to communicate, it wouldn't have lasted.
That's right. That's right.
Next, we're going to go to lingering chemistry. Did the tension still exist immediately? Was there unresolved longing? And did the history make every interaction heavier?
Yes, the tension was there because they still had a lot of miscommunication in their feelings when they did speak about them. Even when they spoke about it to us, when they spoke about it to us, they still had a lot of tension that existed. Josiah said, I can't trust him, and I can't trust her because of what she did, and that was the unresolved longing. Like, Yasmin would see him. She only ever really wanted to give her body to him because we see when Mark was, pushing up on her and tried to get a little.
Absolutely not.
She wasn't even feeling that. And
she wasn't feeling it.
Even Josiah, what type of man? I'm not even gonna lie to you. He already smashed Vashti, but like he said, it wasn't Yasmin, right?
It wasn't Yasmin. He didn't even talk about it in a favorable way.
Exactly. Yeah. He was still longing for her, but he was an upstanding dude because he deaded it with Vashti before it got too crazy. You know what I'm saying? He was still longing for Yasmin, his wife. You know what I'm saying? He would talk about her curviness, how his
How she
Johnson
smelled
would
like
get hard, how
vanilla.
she smelled, and he could, and then vice versa, even her friends were saying it. Josiah, Soul Dad and Hendrix was like, Josiah is a fine mother, shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that desire was still there, but the tension, because they haven't really had that conversation, was still there. And the history made it made it because as she was explaining in the book, you're a reader, so you really wanted them to get right. Like, yo, just kiss already.
Yes, my
Have sex
God.
already and make
Yes.
it passionate. Like, I was going through
Yes.
the book, like, yo, when are they gonna? Then she would say something, and it would just start a conflict. You know what I mean? Like, they would kind of go at it, and then even the backstory of how they was going at it when she was like she was basically trying to have makeup, like she wanted a makeup baby, you know what I'm saying? She got mad
But
at
it was
him
dangerous for
because he didn't
her.
want to. Exactly. He like, yo, this baby could kill you. The doctor said you could die if you have another baby. Your placenta is open, like, you know what I'm saying? So she just was going through so much grief that she just wanted another baby because she pushed out a stillborn babies. I just felt like a lot of that history made the more interactions heavier, especially when they was down in the basement at the champagne toast. You just wanted them
And he
to
was like, "Happy New Year, baby." I
grab
was
her
like,
and right. So I felt like that one say, and you could feel the years between them. You could feel it
yes.
because not both of them, they spoke about it in a sexually low monotone voice. How she bigged him up and how he looked, how he smelled, how her, you know what I'm saying, get a little wet when he around, or when he talked to her, and the same thing with her, how he said the babies made her curvy and thicker and everything like that. So they was longing
Yes.
each other throughout the whole book. So you could feel the years in between them, even when they actually did do it. And my son Josiah was, I don't want no more 1 minute, man. My son got in there and got out. I love you, Yasmin. Go ahead.
Agree.
You
I
good?
agree. The tension was, it said the detention still, it existed the entire book. And that is what made the book for me, because the entire time, even when Yasmin and Josiah would like be arguing, it was that sexual tension. And just like you, Jay, I was like, will y'all fucking kiss already? The whole time I'm just thinking, listen, Josiah just need to lay the pipe one good time. Y'all have a conversation and it'll be done. And that's exactly what happened. Like literally the whole book, they're like arguing at each other, bickering at each other. What about this? And what about this? And blah, blah, blah. And then it was that moment when they were in the restaurant and they were arguing before their business partner came in, and she had stood up, and then they realized they were face to face, and she was breathing all hard and he could smell her. And he was like, wait, is that lust in her eyes? Does she really want me? And it was so crazy to me because Josiah, I was reading it like, this is a good man, Savannah, a good man. He was fine. The way he talked about Yasmin, I love how he dealt with Vashti. We'll get to her later. But like you said, he broke it off with her once he realized he still had feelings for Yasmin. He was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. And he was just such a good man. And I was just like, Yasmin, please, like, give him a chance. And it was just the fact that he, the whole time, has been longing for her. Like, she has stolen his heart. He says it so many times over the book, like, nothing will ever be like this. Nothing will ever come close to this. He even says, I don't know if there will ever be a time where I don't love her, because he was just that in love with her. And you could feel that the entire book. And even Yasmin, when she would watch him with Vashti and she would realize, like, he's really about to move on. And like when she would admire him and the way he smelled and the way he looked, like the tension was there. I wanted them to get together so bad. I definitely think there was unresolved longing. Like, I mean, the man was thirsty. Like, I mean, he couldn't look at her without getting bricked up. There's this part in the book where he's watching her do her nighttime routine. And he's just like, I had a solid wood between my legs by the time she climbed into bed. And this is a girl, she's just doing her skincare and eyes and all that stuff. And he's literally looking at her and just like, yeah, I gotta have them yams. She's thick. She's beautiful. They were such a sexy couple. And the tension was just there the entire time. I think the history, like you said, made every interaction heavy. They were each other's like first real love. They had a restaurant together. They had kids together. They had family together. They experienced life together. That's a lot of history. So that's why even Vashti, even wanting to start something with Josiah, I was like, girl, I knew from the beginning, this is not going to work, because he is still around Yasmin all the time. They still co-parent all the time. He's
and
always
the kids
over
are
the
still
house.
young. It's not like the kids are super old. They still need them to activities, soccer, you know what I'm saying? All of these sports, you know what I mean? So
they're always together all the time. And when you hear, which I love, let me just say that I love dual point of view romances. It's my favorite. I love seeing what the girl says, but love seeing what the guy says. And in both points of view, they were obsessed with each other. So I feel so bad for Vashti. I'm like, girl, all these history and years, like they started off in college. They built this restaurant from the ground up together. You can't compete with that. And he just met you. There's no way this is going to work. So that is what worked for the book. The tension, the longing, the sexual tension, you've seen how much they wanted each other. I was getting hot flashes. I had to open the window like, ooh, let me cool my ass off, because it was just so hot and so steamy, even when they weren't having sex, because they just wanted each other so bad. And I'm like, kiss and make up already.
Right.
I'm tired of waiting.
That's a fact.
Okay. Accountability and redemption. Because this is a second chance romance, you got to have accountability. You got to have redemption for them. Did the person who messed up actually own it? Let's talk about that. First of all, Jay, who do you think messed up in this relationship? And you can be completely honest.
That's easy, man. Yasmin messed up.
Okay, you know I agree.
Yasmin messed up.
Yeah.
She the one who messed up, because if his problem wasn't with her problem was with him. His problem was, it was more, his problem was internally. Listen, I know that, because if you look at it, what was Josiah's issue with Yasmin? It wasn't no issue. It was more or less, she was mad at him because he didn't want to seek therapy and all that extra stuff. Now that's his issue, right? But relationship wise, they didn't have an issue. Like it was the fact that he didn't want to give her baby. He wasn't sulking like she was, but he's not blameless, but he also had, the restaurant was going under, things was happening. You want to lose the restaurant, or you want me to, like, what can I do? Because I still have to provide for my family. You living in this house because of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I picked the pieces up and I had to tug it on my back and run with it. So I felt like, then him not wanting a baby, he looking out for you. Like, yo, the doctor said you could die. He doesn't want to lose you, but you want a makeup baby because of the lost baby. So I just felt like that was on her. The apology was real. I loved her apology. I loved his apology. It wasn't just vibes. Even when he apologized to Vashti, he was being honest. Like, yo, I like you, you know what I'm saying? But I can't do it because I don't want to get you hurt. I don't want you hurt. So I don't feel like it was just vibes. I think it was a real apology between Yasmin and Josiah on each other, and and Josiah and Vashti, you know what I'm saying? Forgiveness was definitely earned through action, because she forgave Josiah because he sought treatment. I said suck treatment.
I was like, he
sought the treatment. Let me rephrase that. He sought counseling. He sought therapy, you know what I'm saying, for his long lost issues, even though he didn't want to in the beginning. It was just for his son, but because we found out that his son is socially, not there because of the things that happened in the past, and they want to skip him another grade, but they need him to be able to be more sociable. But it just helps that Josiah goes to therapy. She goes to therapy. They go therapy on a separate way, which brings them together. So I like the fact that she put that in the book. So I felt like, forgiveness was definitely earned through those actions. And it helped that they went to Charlotte and got busy, and he said to her and reminded,
I knew that was gonna happen.
Reminded her that he was Daddy Long Dick. So you know how that go.
Gosh.
Wait, we can't say that? Yeah, we can't say that.
Okay, so did the person who messed up, I had to agree with Jay. There was a part of me that while I was reading, I felt a little bit like Deja. Deja is Josiah and Yasmin's daughter. And after Yasmin and Josiah get divorced, Deja, which let me just say this, they are amazing co-parent. The way they love their kids, the way they listen to their kids. This is why it's not just a romance story. This is a parenting story. This is a therapy story. It just, the way that, a full story, like the way that Josiah and Yasmin, no matter what they were going through, put their kids first. The fact that their son was so smart, he was going to get skipped up, but they were like, let's make sure he's emotionally ready. The fact that in the end, she listens to her daughter and is like, her daughter's like, I don't want to go to the expensive school. I want to go to this school. And she prospers better at the other school. They were amazing parents. But Deja and Yasmin, I feel like this is typical in the Black household. Black daughter, Black mom, we always bumping heads, and it made it all the more tragic because it was tragic. It was very realistic because Deja actually blamed her mom. And that's something else that this book emphasized. You may think that kids don't really understand what's going on, but Deja and Keem, they understood exactly what was going on with their parents. Deja had heard her parents arguing, and she came to the conclusion, it's my mom's fault. I'm blaming it all on her.
She heard her say it. You want a divorce. Yeah. So she
sided with the dad. Yeah. And there was a part of me that just felt like Deja somewhat, because like Josiah and what Yasmin were going through. It's tragic, but she's the one who asked for the divorce.
She did.
You know, and I felt just like you did. Josiah didn't really do anything to hurt her. He wasn't trying to have another baby.
He was trying to maintain.
Because he was trying to maintain. Like, she had fallen apart. The only thing she could do was take care of the kids. She felt like she wanted to kill herself. She talks about that later. Like, it was a battle in her for inside, either to save herself or to save her marriage. And she chose to save herself, which is why she divorced him. But there was a part of me that just kept feeling like Josiah was such a good man. He put everything on his back. He didn't deserve that. And there's a part in the book where he even says, like, she says something about him being hurt, and he laughed, and he was like, no one's hurt me more than you. Like, I was like, oh, my heart, it stung.
I like them apples.
It was just, so I feel like you did. There was a part of me, I didn't want to blame Yasmin because marriage is difficult, but the whole time I'm like, girl, he is a good man. Like, look how he cares about you and the family. Like, why would you want to divorce him? But like you said, she admits the things that she did. Like, I'm sorry, I can't go back and change this. And the part of him that felt like he was unwanted, remember that part when they broke up and he's like, do you love me? And she couldn't even tell him that she still loved him anymore.
It was the hate and anger she had for him.
Yeah, she couldn't even tell him that she loved him, and she eventually apologizes, and he can't even ask her, do you love me? Because he's scared. And she says, yes, I do love you. She says it for him. So I definitely think she was forgiven. Josiah wasn't perfect. He definitely refused to communicate. And I feel like men do. They just shut down when they're feeling those heavy emotions. Like, I don't want to talk about it. But, you know, we women, we have to feel like you're in it with us. And he just kind of, I'm going to go handle this. But they both took accountability, and it was through action. It was getting busy action. That's how they took accountability. They took that trip to Charlotte. And Jay, you don't know this because this is one of your first romances, but this is a common trope in romances. You know, when they go away to a hotel and there's only one room, there's only one dead.
Of course, I knew he was going to beat them cheeks.
Of course, you knew it was coming. He broke up with Vashti right before him and Yasmin go to scout this new restaurant to open up in a new city. And they're in this hotel and they're reminiscing. And this is the first night that they actually make love after so long. And y'all, the way he was feasting on my girl.
Yeah, after the second time. I mean, it'd be like that with new vagina.
It was this part where she was like, her legs open and she closed them automatically out of modesty, and he like yanked them open. He was like, open. I was like,
getting hot in here.
It's getting hot in here. But yeah, that scene, Kennedy Ryan writes really good love scenes, and it was really beautiful. But yes, I definitely think they took accountability. They clapped them cheeks, as my co-host Jay likes to say, and I believe in their redemption story. Emotional weight. Did the shared memories enhance the story? Were there callbacks that made us ache? And did we believe that they never truly got over each other?
Shared memories, yes. Everything that they talked about from their past when they went back, when they did the backstory. And, you know, if Yasmin was talking about the backstory or Josiah was talking about the backstory, that made it was just putting everything together that, damn, y'all had these many memories with each other and y'all went through so much that it definitely made, I like the back and then the back and then the now, that made the story just go, you know, when you learn how she lost the baby, because it takes a while to figure out, you know, how many chapters it was. Like, damn, they're beefing, but what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then when you find out the backstory, like her tripping, him going away to a conference, you know, her blaming him for that. And then she's saying it's not really your fault. He like, yo, I told you not to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told you not to go. Like, it was not my fault. You don't listen. So, you know, that kind of enhanced the story because you realize it ain't really Josiah's fault. Like, you should have sat your ass down. You know what I'm saying? So that had a lot to do with it. So that had to, and the callbacks that made me ache was just, man, Josiah was treating her like a piece of ass in the beginning when they first got there. And she was like, daddy. Cause he was laying it down. She was fine to go with, like, you treating, let's be honest, he was treating her like just a F buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you mean when they first got together?
When they first got back together. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, we ain't telling nobody. But I ain't never letting you get, this is not a, but he was treating her like a booty call damn near. We just gonna have sex and that's it. And then the kids will figure it out. We'll tell them when we tell them. So I'm like, damn, that kind of hurt. It's somebody you had a, you know, and she was cool with it. I'm like, damn, like that would have hurt me. I'm gonna take it any way I can. I'm like, damn, like that kind of hurt me, made me feel like he was treating Yaz like a bottom of the barrel bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I felt, and this third one, obviously, yes, they never really lost love for each other. And you find that out throughout the whole book when they're talking about, when they're in their head, but we can hear it, but they can't hear it. You know what I'm saying? Remember when he stood up and she was walking outside and my son had the brick on and he was like, oh, I'm glad that the lights was low and I couldn't, so she couldn't see my stiffness. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with her when he was talking to her and her vagina was wet. It's like they never really fell out of it with each other. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I definitely think the memories enhance the story, especially going back to when we see when he originally proposed to her and just how in love they were when they were in college. And then when they talk about like going back to their apartment and the memories that they used to have and how they didn't have no money and they used to be broke and just how far they had came, definitely enhance the story. And I like that Kennedy Ryan not only does dual point of view, guys, but there's a past and a present. So we are in the present as we see how they feel, but also like Jay said, we get to go back and we see what happened. That memory of watching Yasmin fall on her stomach and not feeling the baby kick, that was a callback that really was like, man, I mean, that had to be devastating. I mean, because just imagine knowing my baby is gone and still having to deliver that baby. Like, just, man. And there was a part of me that also, just like Jay, when Yasmin and Josiah first get back together, they have sex and when they go away to scout this new restaurant and then they come back and they can't get enough of each other. But Josiah doesn't want to get hurt anymore. He's like, I cannot put my heart in this. I'm not going to let her hurt me again. Like, girl, this is just sex. This is, and he literally told her, this is not a reconciliation. Do not get no ideas. We just having sex. And I remember Yasmin even says like her heart hurt a little bit when he said that. But it was just kind of like, what is she gonna do? She's the one who told him, I don't want to be with you. And so, but I already knew the way they was making love, the way they was going at it. He jokes and sends a text to her that she wore him out because they did a 69 position. Like they was just on and popping. I knew he ain't gonna be able to keep his feelings out of this. Yes. Another thing that made me feel sad, like I didn't like Vashti. I said that earlier. And the reason is because, do you remember the scene? No, listen, I felt bad for her, but this is the moment when I stopped liking her. Do you remember when Yasmin goes over to Josiah's house because her son leaves something and she can't get a hold of him, but she has a key. So she goes over there. Vashti is over there. And it's awkward because here's Vashti in Josiah's shirt. So Yasmin know they did knock cheeks. And Vashti says this to her. She says, I don't want this to be awkward. And I mean, and you know how amazing Josiah is. I was like, bitch.
You know how amazing my man is?
That is when I stopped liking her because I just felt like I don't want to be friends with the woman who this is your ex-husband and now I'm all up in his house, I'm in his face. And it was just her being like, well, you know how amazing he is. What do you mean do I know how amazing? Do you know why our marriage ended?
You know. Yeah.
Right. Do you know why our marriage ended? And why would you say that to me? Like, obviously, we're not together. Oh, you know how amazing he is. Bitch, I literally want to beat her ass. I was like, I would have been like, do I know how amazing he is? That's when I stopped liking her. And this is a message to any woman. If you are the first man that if you are the first woman that a man is dating after his divorce, don't do it. Or if you're going to do it, understand that it's just about knocking cheeks and that's it. He literally told her, Jay, this is the first time I'm dating since I've been divorced. And I don't want anything serious. He literally said that to her.
Yasmin said it to Mark too.
He said it to Mark too. I'm just getting my feet. And literally, and I feel like Mark and Vashti didn't understand that. Y'all are rebounds. Like, just understand that this is not going to be serious. And there's no way he's going to get in a serious relationship after being married for like, they was like 10 years. I don't know. They was married for a long time. There's no way he's going to his first relationship after it is going to be y'all back together. So I felt bad that her feelings was hurt. I also want to say, that was the one thing I didn't like about Josiah. He know better. You don't shit where you sleep. You know what I mean? And Vashti was the reason why their restaurant did better. Remember, she's the one who brought them back from ruin. Why would you date her and potentially mess that up? And at the end of the book, we see her. She leaves. She's still in the restaurant enterprise. But then she goes to the other one because she doesn't want to be there and see Josiah. And anyway, I didn't like Vashti after she said that little slick shit, but I did feel bad for her. That was a callback that the whole time I was just thinking, please do not let him fall in love with Vashti because she's beautiful. She can cook. The kids love her. Like, she was perfect on paper. And I was thinking Josiah's going to fall for her. That's going to be the thing. But he ends it and I was happy. Next, the conflict in the reunion. Was there fear of getting hurt again? I would say yes, right? Because Josiah, did pride, ego, or past wounds resurface naturally? I don't think their pride or ego resurfaced because they...
No, it did. I'm going to tell you one scene it did. Okay. I'm going to tell you one scene real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Pride, ego. Okay. Remember she took the necklace off and she threw it in the well?
She went to go get it immediately though. Yeah.
Was that pride that not made you do it? but you had to suck in your ego because you realized you really loved him and you wanted to make it work. And all of this mythical, magical, and your ass got in there with and your friends dug in there with you, and you had to find that. Why?
That's true, because
your
she threw it
pride
away,
became
like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. And then she realized, let me go get my damn ring back. Yep.
because I love this man. So I think that was that. And the next one,
did they actively choose each other?
I want to say no, because remember
Really?
Josiah didn't. Remember, it wasn't until the end he chose her. She chose him off rip. Remember when she went in the well, it was still a third of a book to go. And remember, Josiah didn't go to the dude. Remember, he went to the dude at the end and was like, yo, I really don't know what to feel. So she really chose him first. But she also said it though. She wanted to be back with him, in her mind, but he didn't know. I still want to
say he chose her because remember they had a conversation after they went to the parents' night and he was like fingering her when they was sitting under his jacket. They is some nasties. They was.
I loved it though, man.
They had this scene where, he gets her off in like a closet or something. And I mean, she's losing her mind. And then she asked him, are we exclusive? And he says, yes, I don't want anybody else, Yasmin. So I feel like he did choose her. And the whole time in his mind, he had already chosen her. He just wasn't admitting it because he was like, what if she hurts me again? I'm gonna let her back in. She's going to break my heart. But I definitely think she realized before him that I want him back and I'm gonna do anything I can to get him back before he did. And then in the end, they get married again. Well, they get engaged again. They get remarried. I really love that. And like I said,
you can't even say that for number 7. You so romantic.
Sorry.
My God, we right there at the end.
Okay. Just scratch that part out. Record scratch. Okay. The reunion and a happily ever after. Did the reunion hit emotionally?
Yes, because I like it wasn't just like we're back together. Like, nah, he was like, nope. And then ran to his therapist, like, yo, I don't know why I'm feeling like this.
It was him running to his therapist.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I love her. And the dude just sitting there all calm, like a
Remember when he
like
said he gave him the tissue? He was like, what's this for? He said, for the tears.
Tears, right. And we like realizing, I'm like, oh, he crying.
He cried.
That's what's up. So it was like a whole lot thought and dip off, drive off. And she's sitting there like, he don't want me no more.
In the middle of her being like, I want you back. He leaves and runs to his therapist.
I'll be right back. And he go to his therapist and I'm like, wait, so you're not going? She had me going again with the writing. Like, damn, you ain't gonna make it that easy. And then she, we know what he did. He ran to the therapist, got the therapist to see him, to get him to open up and realize that he really want this lady. And then that's what it wasn't rushed because throughout the whole book, it was drama in their head. And when they was talking to us, the reader, it was drama after drama. I can't trust him. I don't like him. I mean, I don't like him, but I can't respect what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so many. And then it wasn't nostalgic, man. It felt stable. The ending was just so, so good. And I felt like I got a lot of closure in this one. I got a lot of closure in this one, and I'm keeping it mild-mannered, and I don't want to sound all crazy. It's my first romance, so I got to act accordingly. But the second one, I'm going to be much nastier, and I'm going to be much crazier. So
I'm just trying to... The second one is nastier, too.
No, I'm just saying, like, on my second romance, like when we do another romance book, I'm going to be a little bit more different. I want to be sophisticated on my first romance book. I'm a lady.
But you see, that's something else with romance, Jay. Romance genre, one of the requirements is that it ends on a happily ever after. That is a requirement. I don't care what anyone tells you. No, that is, people try to debate what a romance is. A romance has to have a happily ever after. If it's not, it's not a romance.
I was scared though.
But I was
scared because I never read a romance. I don't know.
You're supposed to feel that way. I like that.
That Drewski scared. It could go either way. It could go either way. I don't know. Right. So I didn't know which way it was going to go. I'm going to be honest with you.
But that's what makes the story. You don't want it to be so predictable that you know exactly how they reconcile, exactly how their love story is supposed to go. Like, I liked that there were several moments where I was like, damn, I know they're going to end up together, but what's going to happen with Vashti? Is he going to fall for her? And then when he was just like, this is not a reconciliation, I was like, but maybe they're not going to get back together. And then, yeah. So I'm geeking because this is Jay's first romance, and I'm so happy it was Kennedy Ryan because I love this book.
Man. The Skyland series is going to be a doozy.
It is. All right. It is. This is our final segment. Was the love truly inevitable? I feel like yes. They was each other's person from the very beginning. Yep. Would they have survived without the time apart? I don't know. I
Would
feel like
they
they
have
wasn't really
survived without
apart.
the they weren't apart. They
They
weren't
wasn't
apart
really
at all.
apart, but
Unless
I
he
definitely
woulda like, if she'd have took the story, like, where he woulda went to Charlotte and she would stayed in Atlanta,
Yeah,
then that
yeah.
would have been like a good question to see if they love would have
But they were
lasted.
never really apart. They were always a part of each other's lives, just not together.
Yep.
But that's why I said I could never co-parent with my husband or my ex-husband, because I'm gonna be one to throw them cheeks. Like, you was my man. Like, you gonna come over looking good. I'm like, yeah, babe, the kids is in there. You wanna come up and, you know.
Or what if he involved with somebody? Never mind, Keys throwing it back. There you go. You got your
Like, listen,
answer.
I would never want to be the other woman. I would be like Yasmin, like, I'm
Well,
not
you
really
was
gonna
the
do that
first
with
one,
him.
technically.
But you know what I mean? Like, there was a part of me, even being separated, me and my husband, there was a part of me that always felt like he is my man. Like, he better not be doing nothing with anybody else, and he wasn't. But it was just, I can't really say that because we're separated, but still, that's my man. I'm throwing it back. And then did the second chance feel better than the first? I want to say yes, because they grew, they had kids. Now they know how to handle conflict, which I'll just say this. That was the biggest and only real problem in their relationship. I love that it wasn't like he cheated or she cheated. They didn't have to overcome some crazy betrayal. It was just they didn't know how to communicate. But Kennedy Ryan expertly showed you can't just love a person. I could love you very much, but we don't communicate. We're not talking. We can't see eye to eye. We can't go through grief together. It's not going to work no matter how much I love you. So I 100% believe it felt healthier. And it's just a comfort reread for when we want to believe in timing. I would reread this, especially because it's part of their Skyland series.
Yes.
I'm going to reread this one just probably once a year. I already know, because I just loved it that much. There's favorite parts of the book that I go back to, especially there's this part, I'm going to be a little nasty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
there
good.
was this, okay. There was this part
Look
when
at her
they're
giggling. Go ahead. Like it's your first time.
So there was this part in the book, okay, where Josiah and Yasmin are getting down and dirty. So he wakes up and he's like, I want to fuck you. That's what he says. And so they don't even have sex. He just gets her off. And then he starts feasting on her. And she's like, damn, Sai, I already came. And he was like, come again. I was like, oh gosh. And that's why I said,
if
Kennedy
these
Ryan
walls could talk.
If these walls could talk, it was just, they just had such a sexy romance, a sexy relationship. The sex was nice. And like I said, Josiah is that guy, because there was a part, I wish I could find it, but I can't right now. I didn't bookmark that part. But he literally is like, he's slurping her, and he's doing it like without any kind of manners, because he's like, I don't know if I just want to sit here and lick her essence or if I want to get mine. But he really just
lick her essence is crazy.
He like, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to please her with everything in him. It didn't even matter how he felt sometimes. He wanted to give her pleasure. And that's another really important part of marriage, people. Sex is important. And I love that Josiah and Yasmin, they reconnected, and the sex was on point. They communicated. Their kids were doing good. This was just, they had a really beautiful love story.
And even when you say the second chance felt healthier, even remember they mention it during when they have relations, they're saying it is better than before.
It's better than
time
before.
Apart helped them recreate that type of passion sexually and made it better, longing for each other. So I felt like everything was, and it was a comfort read, man. It was. You can reread it if you're gonna get into the series again. I might have to go back to this. I might have to go back to this one, because you're gonna be shocked at my bookmarks, man.
Hey, so we are getting into my favorite parts of the episode, where we are going to give this a bookmark. As you know, here at the BookFest Club, we do not give stars, we give bookmarks. And the scale is as follows: 1 bookmark, should have stayed broken up. 2 bookmarks, nostalgia, not growth. 3 bookmarks, decent redemption arc. 4 bookmarks, BookFest approved reunion. Or 5 bookmarks, certified it was always you, classic. I'm gonna let Jay go first, since this is his first romance. What did you think?
At first, when I was reading it, maybe like the first 15 chapters, I gave it a 1. I was like, oh, they should have just stayed broken up. I'm like, this book ain't even really what they be talking about. Then as we started to get going, I gave it 2 bookmarks, and I was like, this is not nostalgia, but they still not talking about growth. They still both reverting to the past, and the past hurt. As we get in there, the redemption arc after they went to Charlotte, it was like, okay, we getting the 3 bookmarks now. We getting the 3 bookmark area. Then it was BookFest approved once they got the reunion going, and before they got caught by Deja, and he was like, listen, I'm grown, girl. You know what I'm saying? What you were seeing your mother, you know, you're going to see a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? He kept it fine. And then I was like, okay, so this is where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with 4 bookmarks. But then the end happened. And I said, wait a minute. what's going on here, Kennedy Ryan? Did she just steal my heart?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Going into my top author junk. So I wound up giving this book, and this is the first time that I've ever done this. This is my first 6-star read. I went above 5 stars. Y'all heard it here first. This is a certified classic hit. This is a 6-star read. I don't care what nobody say. This was a story that went from beginning to end with time skips. Remember, they went through Thanksgiving. They went through Christmas. They had all of this stuff from when the kids went to school to New Year's. It was like a whole story from beginning to end with time skips, but everything in the middle was still there. It was explained the dinner when Vashti came over for Thanksgiving. We were missing a lot of parts when they was at the festival, and he played her song just to kind of get her in a moment. I thought that was another cute moment, and how she looked at him and he was like, I got you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause he knew that she needed it. So that was like another cute moment. And it was just so like romantic. These cute moments throughout the whole, and it was like, oh man, this was a complete book. 6 bookmarks here. First time ever.
I'm really, really proud of you, Jay. And I'm so happy that Kennedy Ryan could be your first 6-star romance. I mean, this is a message to anybody. You want to get into romance, read Kennedy Ryan. She does romance very, very well. As you can see, this is Jay's first romance, and he gave it a 6-star read. Bookmarks. I will have to say,
6 bookmarks.
This is something that always happens to me. I will rate a book on my own, and then I'll sit here and talk about it with Jay, and the rating always goes up, because talking about it with my co-host makes me realize how much I loved it. When I first read this book, I rated it a 4.5 bookmarks out of 5, and that was only because there was a part of me that didn't really feel like Josiah and Yasmen should have broken up. Like, it just felt like they should have been separated, because there was a part of me that didn't really understand fully the reasons why they broke up. And so that kind of had me like, I love the story, but it wasn't really a second chance, because I feel like they shouldn't have broken up. But talking with Jay, and we're talking about marriage and how difficult it is and how love is not enough, I have to up that. It's definitely a 5 bookmark. I feel like this story was realistic.
Classics.
It was.
2 classics here.
It was, and like Jay said, there were so many sweet moments. We skipped the Thanksgiving scene, but there was a whole scene where Vashti comes over for Thanksgiving, which, again, I'm gonna just be honest, I like Vashti, but she was doing too much. You are not his wife. Like, y'all not even boyfriend and girlfriend. Y'all are dating, and she was so involved with his kids coming over for Thanksgiving. I don't know. I just felt like, girl, she was destined to get her heart broke. But anyway, that Thanksgiving scene where Yasmin makes his aunt's, what was it, macaroni or something, and he's tasting it, and he's like, this tastes just like her macaroni, and she's just like, yeah, I made it from the recipe book. And they had that moment where they're making eye contact, and Vashti is like looking at them, look at each other. I knew it was over then for her. I was like, girl, just hang it up. But there were so many cute moments when Yasmen and Josiah, they weren't even back together yet, but you could just feel their love.
Feel it.
I mean, just the story makes me laugh. Josiah was just such a good man. Like, and there were so many parts of him. I think I loved him so much because he reminded me a little bit of my husband. He does not like to communicate. And like I said, that's something that we went through. Like, he refused to go to therapy, but seeing Michael went to therapy, Josiah went to therapy, and that's so realistic, Jay. Like, and just they got better, and just losing a child. So many people go through that, and just the way they handled it and got back together. The story just, it was beautiful. It was
amazing.
It was
Shout
amazing.
Out to Kennedy Ryan.
Literally.
In her first book in the Skyland series, and we will be returning.
Yes, because we got Hendrix and Soledad's stories. These are 2 of Yasmin's friends, so I can't wait for their stories too.
And oh man, we ain't even we gotta wait. We ain't got enough time to get into it with the friends, because they got their own stuff going, especially Soledad.
No, Jay, I want to hear what you think.
Husband.
Yes, no. Are you sure?
No, Soledad with her husband. I mean, I'm just saying, it's just so much in the book. This is what made it a 5-star read. We gave him enough meat. We gave him enough candy. You know what I'm saying? Like my pastor would say, we gave them enough candy. You know, they got enough inspiration to now go and read the book and understand the book and consume the book and live in the book. So you will live in the moment. I'm telling you. And my favorite narrator, Wesley Siobhan, narrates this book. So if you know Wesley Siobhan, who did Capri, right? She did Capri's voice. You know how she sound. You know she could imitate male voices. So anything Wesley Siobhan do is always going to be gold. And she jumped into this Skyland series, and she played the part of Yasmin. So definitely it is a classic. You heard it here first.
And you immersive read this too, didn't you, Jay?
Yes.
Was this your first immersive read? How was that?
It was my first. It let me know that I read faster than 1.5. I was happy. I was like, damn, I read faster. So now I got to listen But yeah, I do read faster than 1.5, but it was just a great experience listening to it and then reading it, being able to pause and go back and see where I left off at. It was just a dope. I'm definitely gonna do that with our next read. What is it?
I,
Medusa
Medusa.
coming
Yes,
up
so be
too soon. So
tuned for that, y'all. We are
yeah,
reading fantasy next. At the BookFest Club, we do a little bit of everything. We do urban fiction, we do romance, we
all
do
books, all
fantasy,
books. That's why
romantasy,
we
mystery, thriller. We read everything. So be sure to always tune in because you don't want to miss one episode. And if
that's
you
right.
guys have suggestions, I want you guys to read this or read this, please let us know because we are open to suggestions. But yes, that is our next book is going to be I, Medusa by Ayana Gray, who also has another book out. I forget the name of it, but she is off the charts right now. I've heard nothing but good things about I, Medusa. Medusa is actually one of my favorite stories. Like, I admire her so much. It's a sad story if you go watch Greek mythology, but I'm really excited to see
Yeah,
Ayana's take on this. So, yep.
that's right. So before we get out of here, anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Thank you so much for always tuning in. As Jay announced in our last episode, we are at 400 subscribers and we have more coming on that. We have a special surprise for everybody who has tuned in and supported us thus far when we reach that 500 subscription. So just stay tuned for that. We have more news coming up on that. And as always, thank y'all so much for tuning in on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. We enjoy engaging with y'all. We enjoyed the live talks. We enjoyed the discussions. And thank you so much for always supporting. And also, I miss Jules. I'm going to say it every episode. He's not here.
That's right.
Jules is the third amigo, me, Jay, and Jules, and we miss him, but he is handling business. He is an amazing father. He's handling business for his kids. So shout out to Jules. You're not here, but you are definitely missed.
My boy. Well, until next time, y'all. She's the reader. I'm just a speaker. Jules is the architect. So peace next week.